Hello, this is Lisalee and welcome to my channel. So today we are doing a reading with Apollo and the Fates, and this energy has been with me since yesterday. Apollo has, not the Fates. The Fates was this morning. It's such a lovely energy, and so I invite you, we're just gonna have a nice, comfortable, long reading. I invite you to get a notebook. A lot of times it's really helpful to take notes with this stuff. I just channel through. I'm going to be watching this later with my notebook too, so because I don't really retain a lot of it. So just, yeah, like I'm getting a lot of, I actually invite you to, if you're so inclined, invite the energy of Apollo and the Fates into your space and just really feel the warmth. This is the warmest, it's a delicious energy. I mean, not to, like it is, it's really, really comfortable. And so take this opportunity now to invite that energy in any way that you feel safe or comfortable doing, or if you don't want to, that's okay too. It's something that's coming through, that this energy wants to connect with you, your energy. Apollo, again, is very warm, so you probably want to be feeling a very warm kind of energy. So I'm going to light this intention candle now with that in mind. And again, whatever you're comfortable with, go ahead and light this. It's really powerful right now, actually. It's really nice. Feeling a lot of energy. So let's get that. I claim safety for everyone involved with any readings, anywhere. It can be through time, through space, through everything. Apollo is amazing. Let's start. This is it's an oracle reading. Like it's very free flowing. We don't have a lot of structure with this, so I don't know how long it's gonna go, but I'm down for whatever. Here we go. So let me move some of these decks over. Leave this, move this. Okay, let's go, let's go. Those of you that are coming from TikTok, hey, I love it here. I like it on the YouTube side of things because I can just go into trance and channel, and it doesn't have to like stop and, you know, press the play button again, the record button again. All right, let me just get into this energy. That's beautiful. One more. Okay. So Apollo wants to bring us back all the way to some kind of a beginning, some kind of an origin space. The cards that I just pulled are representative of you. And so this reading really actually started with the TikTok reading. I kind of went into the energy. It was amazing. After that ended, I just began this. So this, you know, Apollo really wants to kind of speak to your value. I mean, it's kind of like, I'm getting very clearly that you've been hidden. You've been really hidden. So Spirit says, you know, who you were, when we look at the bottom of the deck energy, like this energy, Apollo, the Fates, they recognize you. They recognize you and they know who you are, and they're saying you don't know who you are, but you're extraordinarily old and you came back to do something, and you didn't have to come to such a difficult life, and you didn't have to come to such a difficult mission, but you saw an opportunity, and I'm hearing you were strong enough, actually. Right? So we have the animal, we have your essence, your core, like what you're made of. And this actually does look like a wolf, and Apollo is represented by the wolf often. with the mirror, the desert, and the castle, I'm getting to get some cards because so you are like of a lineage, and this energy is saying like that there's not really like hierarchy, sort of patriarch. What is that? Like to say of royal lineage is not to put you in a category of above or special, because there's a trap in that. But you're a part of a core of something. You know, I'm being shown that you were created from the beginning. That's how old you are, and so they're calling you pure. And not without reverence. We have to be, one of the main lessons here is to learn what the word reverent means, and to bring reverence into our lives towards our deities and towards other spiritual practices. Like reverence is something that they're saying we've kind of lost touch with, and it's not the dark, angry, yucky respect that we've come to know as like the evil stepfather. You gotta respect, you know, so like that, and I'm being shown like cathedrals, chapels, like this energy is saying reverent. It's closer to, they're showing me the etymology is the word that I'm being shown now. So like, you know, someone should take some time and just look up the etymology of the word reverence. So reverence is something that we're going to be given as like a gift, is what I'm hearing. That it's a gift to have that. And so recognizing who you are in spirit is basically what this reading is about. Understanding that where you have been, the journey that you have been on, very much a desert landscape. You weren't here to accumulate karma. That's why your relationships have been pretty sparse. And there's a story for you that you need, that we're going to bring forth for you. So again, you come from a soul lineage of ancients. I'm being shown again, like when the star blows up, like what's at the core of the star, what's around you, like you're connected very close to the core. So let's go ahead and begin. So you're here on like a mission, and I'm hearing like, and now there's like, I hear the word, like it's a song, like like a lament kind of a feeling, that your guides and your angels and your deities really have, they saw the dream that they gave you all a dream. Anyone who's really finding this know the dream that I'm talking about. It's like the one dream from like when you were going through puberty, or the one dream from like childhood. Like you're never gonna forget that dream. It's terrifying actually. But that they knew that they were gonna, when you came back to do this mission, they knew that they were gonna lose track of you here. You knew that you were gonna lose track of here. You were betting on the purity of your spirit and your soul to get you through what could have been very, actually almost like a dangerous mission, and losing track of yourself. So let's just take a look where this is going. This is where we're starting with the Four of Cups and the Hermit. Again, this makes so much sense. I love that we have a passionate beginning, because you deserve it. What I'm looking at, this is basically just reiterating, you know, you've had a lonely time of things, and it's not that you haven't had people around you necessarily, and sometimes that is the fact, but you were never gonna be like anybody else, and that doesn't mean, again, it's not speaking to specialness, it's speaking to you're from another time, very much an ancient that has sort of graduated from Earth School, but just took a quick trip back because there were souls in your ancient soul family that you're here to collect, that you were here to help collect. That's really interesting. And so that you don't know who you are, that you're not able to see the truth scope of the situation that you put yourself into. That's because the scope of the situation that you put yourself into, that will become abundantly clear later. So we're gonna keep going, actually. I'm going on a tangent a little bit. They are very good about reeling me in. Let's just get a couple more cards here. So what you haven't seen or known about yourself, it's kind of hidden too. Humility was a big part of this mission, because you were never going to be able to come here and pull this off from a position of strength. You had to pull this off from a position of weakness. You've been a survivor. You know, that's what this card is all about. you've been so busy surviving your life that it's been hard to make connections. It's been hard to create, I'm hearing community. I'm trying to see a little bit more. It's been hard for you to you've been beaten up in the process of doing the work you came here to do. I always find that as reader like such a trite thing, because it's like, you know, our pain is always so present, so close and so real, and so they're acknowledging that. It's all because there's a healing. So with the metamorphosis, I get this is it speaking to this moment in time. We are having this Four of Cups hermit moment. You have been led by the spirit. You have an earth angel quality. You are an ancient. That you've not really known what your mission is or who you are, or that this has been hidden from you and others. This part of the desert card right here. But the metamorphosis of right now is like this awakening around your identity. What are you showing me? Yeah, yeah, they're saying we don't have to rush. There's no rush here. Because when I'm channeling, I move very quickly. So let's go ahead and get some clarifying cards and get like a story here. Lost at sea. Lost at sea. So who are we speaking to? So again, I'm hearing like ancient. You're ancient. 5 of crystals coming out to the side. Poverty. Abandonment. They're saying riches to rags. You know, that was kind of what happened with this Page of Page of Swords is, you know, saying that like you came here to not only gather your soul family, but to come here with a healing message. Your message is super important, and it's why you took that 5 of crystals, that 5 of Pentacles road. You had to take the 5 of Pentacles road to get here. And Apollo's almost like, you know, there's like someone like, you know, I wrong contract. Can I take back? Can we adjust the contract? Like, there is this feeling of like, this has been too hard for you. Everybody knew it was going to be like, that's why the attention is on you in respect to whatever this mission is, because you're getting a message and you're giving a message and you're going through, you're taking that, you took that 5 of Pentacles road. Luckily, luckily, there's really good movement here. Oh my God. And the Sun card, this represents Apollo. So what we see here with there's an abundance of love for you in this new beginning. And there's a new beginning that's being created for you and has been created for you. This is when your team comes in. This is when we're having the Calvary show up. You've never known a healed, controlled space. You've only ever known survival in a very fundamental way. There's been like very brief times of peace. And so, but this is where we see that 5 of Pentacles path. We're moving out of that 5 of Pentacles path, out of not having control over. This is where like everything in life beats the crap out of you and you're just trying to manage it. You didn't incite this. This is somebody else's mess. You walked into the store and somebody pulled out a gun, and there's just like this idea of like reacting to chaos. Again, this 5 of Pentacles path, and just never having that time to even heal or recover. So this is this metamorphosis. Where are you? It's on the bottom of a deck somewhere. I'm being shown that card and I'll find it. But you are in a moment of major transformation and change. You have walked a lonely walk, being led by your spirit and not even knowing what the mission, who you really are. But there is such love for you, and such love for being built into this new path that you are moving towards, that's moving towards you, I'm hearing. With the moon, the Chariot, and the Sun, you don't know where you're going. but you're well on your way with the Wheel of Fortune. We are really at this moment, Wheel of Fortune is right under. We are really at this moment where like the time has come. So let's talk about what this pivot actually is. Let's just get some information on that. And I'm going to use the tarot deck. And let's just find out what this new road that you're being given, that has been built for you. Oh my gosh, Six of Feathers, moving towards this and out of that chaos. That's the Six of Swords. Let's get some information. I'm just going to pile these over here under this is the Five of Pentacles road that you took through the heart of chaos. I hear you might know Loki and not realize it by the way of like the feeling of like there's this almost like a house music feeling. I know this is just coming through for somebody. You have deities everywhere that want to work with you on both sides of your heritage. You actually came with a very specific heritage. You came into the very specific families that were both connected to ancient deities. Yeah, so because you're so old, really. So what we have here with the Seven of Pentacles and the Chariot is like, you know, this is going to be there's a little bit of work involved in this metamorphosis and this transformation. So we're going to learn a little bit about what that means. And let's do it. So I'm just going to take some breaths and just bring in this information about what this Ace of Cups, this manifestation and prosperity that you are walking into, like what exactly does that mean? Give us Apollo and the Fates. Let us see as you see. Let us hear as you hear. Let us know. King of Cups and Two of Cups. I love that energy. I'm hearing the phrase, I've got my eye on you, and I'm seeing this Two of Cups as being like, you know, this is coming back to that. You've met your soulmate in the most uncharacteristic way, in a way that you're not going to recognize them easily, but you'll recognize them. Something. Let's just keep going because that was very sweet, whatever that channel was. Okay, let's keep going. Queen of Cups makes so much sense. Two of Wands. Seeing yourself clearly for the first time is going to make all of the difference in terms of bringing a level of self-worth and stability that you're just literally like I'm seeing someone put their foot into the river, stepping into the Sun again and the Two of Swords. Let's talk about that. 2-2. And the Six of Cups, this is soulmate. So we're talking about a soulmate. We started there. The Six of Cups is a soulmate energy, and it is either somebody from your past that's coming back around, like nostalgia kind of a feeling. But it can also be that there's a soulmate from another time or another relationship, like, you know, through time. It's your soulmate. This is your soulmate. And I hear this is your soulmate speaking. So do with that what you may. Let me go ahead and get some clarification on this because we're having fun. I want to see where we're going here. So, what do you want to tell us about this soulmate that is... There's a plan here. You are very much in this Queen of Cups energy. You live in this Queen of Cups energy is what I'm hearing. You're so good at your emotions. You're getting this, like, I feel like this pride, you know, like, you are so good at your emotions. You are so good at working with them, managing. You pull the tides. This is very linked to your true self. Can I get some more information about that self, that highest self? Can I get more information about that highest self, that oldest self? Can you tell us more about who that is? Tell us more about who we are. Two of Coins, boy. 222. So the first thing that this energy wants to, well, this is Apollo. The first thing that Apollo wants to bring forth here the fates want to bring forth here is they want you to keep your eye out for the numbers 222. It means you got a soulmate and it's like very close. The Knight of Cups. This is someone coming towards you with a loving offer, right? So, the 222 has got me a little stumped. It sort of knocked me off for a second. So let me just try to... They're saying just keep going. Okay. So maybe someone knows what that means. Because I'm kind of lost on it. I'm seeing a partial picture. But let's keep going. We have the Hermit again. So, you know, speaking... So who are you? You know, the Hermit card is... I think the Hermit card is Apollo. I gotta look that up. I'm hearing laughter. So anyway, with the Hermit here coming out again. So, you know, when we ask about characteristics, like, you know, you are the Justice of the Hermit. Let's keep going. So, Justice, the Hermit, the Page of Swords, and the Star. When we look at your identity, we are seeing fire with this Page of Wands. And you set fire all this. You actually have a very like Leo kind of a fire. You probably have some fire in your chart, like very distinctly in specific heartfelt kinds of places, or in relationship to others. Like there's a very important aspect to you're related to fire, is what I'm hearing. You're related to fire. As Apollo is actually I gotta look. You know, some of this stuff I'm just gonna channel and get out of my own way. With the 6 of Pentacles, Justice, Fairness, and with the Page of Swords, a message, and with the Star, we've got like angelic healing sort of energy. So who you are is an ancient... I did hear the word deity, but I feel weird saying it. I'm getting in the way a little bit. You're an ancient one who's primarily concerned with justice. That makes a lot of sense, and bringing a message forth of healing in relationship to justice. So that's there, and you've been very much led on this entire. You've been led this entire time by that aspect, by that highest self aspect within you. Like you're so close. There is a direct connection there. So that's what we've got on that. Now let's look at the situation because look at the situation. Old one I hear. And then it's like very endearing, my old one. And I'm being told to breathe. I think that's just for me. So 222. So you're in this Queen of Cups energy. Very watery. It has been extremely difficult for you to move anywhere, to plan anything. Again, you know, they're actually bringing my attention back to the road of that 5 of Pentacles, that chaos. Yeah, Apollo is basically saying, like, listen, let's stop giving yourself a hard time about whatever you think your progress is supposed to be. There was only a survival option. That was the road. And so you were in reaction to, always reacting to. And so that part of that is what obscured your ability to see yourself, to know yourself, to experience yourself. And you actually did not have that experience of getting to see yourself, know yourself, and come into like who you are. It was by design that you would just keep you reacting, you know, and they're saying, like, I'm hearing the fates, like, just like there is kind of, it's like a wind lament sort of a sound energy. The wind, what is that? It's an acknowledgement that you have had nothing but storms, that chaos has always swallowed your potential and there was nothing you could do about it. And so we're acknowledging that is where we're coming from. We're ultimately, you know, as the soulmate comes in, you haven't had traction with other relationships in a normal, safe, or like even reasonable way. And it had to do with this incoherence I'm hearing. And so, you know, the soulmate that is here, that is with you, that is coming into your life very quickly, their energy is with you. Their highest self is with you. What do we have here? Paulo says, this is a beautiful deck, by the way. This is the, what is it? Star Spinner. So with the Page of Swords, the stars, and the, I'm glad you just watched me do that. I think I shuffled well. I'm just gonna get a confirmation card because these were just out. We were just looking at these in terms of who you are. All right, let me just get a confirmation card. Is that shuffled properly? Is that what you wanted? Yes or no? 5 of Coins. Yeah, so we're bringing, yeah, they're saying like, we're just not done talking about you. We're just not done talking about you is basically what it ends up being. We're kind of talking about this. They want to bring me here. Let me get some water. Because they're saying like, we're really more interested in fixing your perspective around the brokenness and grief that you have been carrying, and my throat chakra. Excuse me, my God. They're saying your voice has been choked out, and it feels like it too, under the brokenness and the grief. And so before we talk about what it means for your soulmate to be in orbit and to be coming in, we're not really done talking about the story that you've come from. And now give me a second, because I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to cough until I can. Whoa. I've never felt such a death grip over my throat chakra before. So really, you've been choked out in terms of, I'm hearing maybe even literally, in terms of being able to speak your truth. Whew. I would take a minute with that. Okay, so what do you want to tell us about this? What do you want to tell us about this message relating to the healing that you've been doing around who you truly are, and what this brokenness in that 5 of Pentacles path? What else do you want to tell us about that? Because I guess the grief is still here, and actually I'm hearing like you're so damn strong. Harrison Burdoff, that always comes through my readings. You're so strong that you and again, and that's, someone can look that up. It's a Kurt Vonnegut novel, I think. So you're so strong, and you don't even realize it, obviously. Like, you're 1,000, you know, you walk into a room and then everybody notices because of just your presence, and you have a presence of, like, it's power, you know? And so what I'm being told here about this brokenness and about this grief around this brokenness is it's very this life centered, which makes perfect sense because you're in this life. But you came here to get this tremendously difficult, and the fates are repeating that over and over again together in unison. It's very powerful. Tremendously difficult 5 of Pentacles path that you have taken alone, without your powers, without your knowledge of yourself. Like you, like and I see like the star that fall, you know, the fallen star, like a forgetfulness. You came here with such a forgetfulness that there's grieving actually for what you lost in the way of like your sense of self. And so much of that grieving is just like, who am I? Where's my home? And where do I go? And what do I do? That incoherence I'm hearing again. It was part of what you have. It's the path that leads to the message that sets them free, Like, I'm hearing that. It's really, tell us more about this message, please. You have a gift. I'm hearing ocular. You might be an oracle. So 10 of Cups. You might be an oracle, 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Coins. You're made of tough stuff. You're made of good stuff, and there's blessings and emotional fulfillment here for you. When we talk about what this metamorphosis is, we're talking about this 10 of Cups energy, this alchemy here with this angelic energy, this alchemy, and your guides very much sort of putting something together here in the way of your fulfillment and your happiness. And overall, that's related to family, which is interesting because there is an orphaned feeling that's quite powerful with your presence. So 10 of coins and 10 of cups. If that's not encouragement, I don't know what is. What was the question? Apollo, I kind of like lost everything at 10 and 10. What do you got for me here in terms of focus? 'Cause I lost you there for a second. I'm hearing just like just relief. Have a breath of relief. Your 10 of Pentacles, like you're done with the 5 of Pentacles path. You're done with the Hermit. And intrinsically you're a little like he's laughing. He's like, you are of course a hermit. Loki is associated with the Hermit. Okay. So and that makes sense with the chaos and everything. Okay. What about that? 8 of Wands or something. So this is quick. You know, they're showing me a life where, and I like snap a finger, like, turn of a knob, click of a button. You go from part 1 to part 2, from the past to like, it's a very quick transformation for you. Like it's been the long, hard haul, self-actualization, boom, like 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. It's not going to be hard. You know, the way that you're just so powerful that once you figure out who you are, you're like, oh, I got all of this. This is not hard at all. It's been hard. So with the 7 of Cups, there's been so much confusion around. Look at this. We've got 2 4s. Healing and completion. So that's you're completing the healing part. The breaking, the 5 of Pentacles path, the breaking down, the breaking, like really breaking whatever was created like a shell in the form of like a personality around who you truly are. That was like a lot that needed to break because it was like the vehicle that was going to get you this far. And then it needed to just be broken. Like I see like an egg cracking and like a chicken coming out. Like that was just the shell, and what you are is so much more. And so we've completed this breaking and holding it together. And the past couple of years, I'm being told, was like your healing time, and we have reached a completion related to that. And so, you know, that was this time. You know, this is being stabbed in the back and rejected. And so that's what we're seeing it into. We're seeing a completion. So that's like just something that wants to be brought in, because whatever this is for you is switch. It's very, very quick. And so when we talk about that 5 of Pentacles path, you're being urged to walk away from some of the darker, denser energies that you became familiar with. That's hard. That's actually really difficult. And that's something that you have to decide very consciously that you want to do. Because that's when we talk about a blockage. And I always like to spend a little time with the blockages, because I think that we want to make sure that that stuff gets out of the way, right? So I want to spend a little time with that. And just ask for some guidance here from, actually here, Loki is sort of being introduced to this reading in a sense where, you know, it's a different, like, I think that the gods of your heritage, and I don't know who, like from where, you know, I don't really know what the system is. They're showing me like the array of colors and being like, you don't even know, like, yes, your heritage is important, but that don't get hung up. Like almost saying that the gods represent the gods, represent the gods, represent the gods. Okay. The gods represent the gods, represent the gods, represent the gods. So it's really, we're talking more to your spiritual heritage than we are, but there's gods on both sides, you know, every side, like gods that you have been close to in past lives, have been watching you closely, cheering from you, kind of forced to stay out of it, you know. And I'm being shown, this is coming from Loki, just watching you, like I'm seeing like a boxing ring, like old style. I'm seeing like the 20s and the 30s, and these 2 figures are beating each other up. And there are people cheering around, and Loki's just showing me I'm actually seeing clown with tears coming down his face, which is an odd, almost looks like the Joker, and saying like this agony over not being able to intervene at any time, because this is the agreement that was made, and the agony that they all feel, you know. And then the fates were kind of repeat things together, which is so amazing part of this reading. So we are out of that alone. We're done. I'm hearing like we're done. You're coming home. There's a homecoming here between yourself and the gods that you were always so close to. And there was also even like an early life, there was such a pious quality to you, but it just, that wasn't your God, sort of a thing. But they're saying like you're having this homecoming, like all of this happens around, in the blink of an eye, around a recognition within the self of who your higher self actually is and what you're actually connected to, in this beautifully powerful way. And again, your higher self and you are close. And so now we're coming back to the offer of love, because this is the 10 of Cups right here again, and this decision that everyone's had, yourself included, about like, now it's time for some fulfillment, and now it's time, like, let's get more for back to the Hermit, the Queen of Cups, and the 7 of Cups. Okay, tell me what you mean by this. Use the other deck. Okay, 10 of Swords. Tell me about this 10 of Swords. We're gonna get bottom of the deck energy of 10 of Swords means it's deader than dead. And they're showing me the road that led you here, and they're showing me that that's the past, and they're saying the past is deader than dead. And that's not to say that aspects of the past, like, you're still here to fulfill a mission. You've worked a lot in certain ways that this is all gonna come together again. This is all gonna pan out. But the sun is coming up. And so things that have been put into motion will come to completion with the sun up. And so you're being told that the past and the way of the past, yeah, get confused. The past and the way of the past is over. It's deader than dead. There's nothing left there. And so we'll find out what the heck that means in just like 1 second. Because I need to shuffle a little bit here and just look at this Hermit, Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is you, very much so. And so is the Hermit. Alone in your own little world. Your own little world created your emotional stability, and your own little world and your ability to like use your imagination to survive some of the tougher things in your life and actually bring that into adulthood and not lose that along the way. You have been in beautiful co-creation and very much in flow, and your imagination has kind of been driving the car in a certain way. But it's definitely given you all the emotional stability you could ever need for any reason. So this notion that you are broken beyond repair wants to be corrected by the truth that your past is broken behind. That was a broken mess, the past. I'm seeing a pile of burning trash, really. That was hell, right? That was your past. And it was your own little world that saved you. Now there's confusion with the 7 of Cups, and I want to find out why. Your emotional fulfillment comes from following that spiritual path and really actually like making use of that world that you've created. But what is the 7 of Cups? Show me something about that. I want to know what that means. Okay, so there's been an effect. This is, again, we're back to that 5 of Pentacles path. There's an effect here that is causing some distortion with the 7 of Cups. We want to find out what that distortion is and deal with it. This is that blockage that we're dealing with that's coming back. How can we heal this? How can we heal this distortion? Can we see the truth? 9 of Pentacles. You have to be more, it requires a willingness to be independent. Page of Shells. So in as much as you are like this evolved, incredibly evolved creature, there's a stunting and there's a card here, the Magician. The willingness to be alone has kind of been the hardest thing in the world for you. So much so that this is where the denser energies that have kind of been feeding off of you're like a glowing ball of light, even in the depths of hell. And you've become very familiar. You're kind of made a home for yourself in some of the darker spaces. You are very comfortable in certain environments because, again, that whole born into a fight pit, just surviving, you know, your imagination being like this incredible steering mechanism that has brought you exactly where you're supposed to be. You're led by the spirit. The hardest thing for you is not being somehow dependent, because you are a creature of unconditional love and your boundaries are really porous. And so where we have some level of like challenge, delusion, lack mentality, poverty, hurt you. But what's that word? What are you showing me? Learned helplessness. There is a learned helplessness, because what happens when you get up to bat and every single time someone throws a can at your head, you know what I mean? Like, because we see your past as this experience of like just surviving like a chaos that is relentless. Of course, you're going to feel like nothing you do is going to be effectual and nothing that you have is is ever going to be properly valued, because again, we cannot look to the past for answers. And so when we look at that 10 of Swords, deader than dead, we're not bringing that past into the future. We're not going to take the past and put the past goggles on and like look at the future with the past goggles on, because the past goggles are full of dirt and soot. I'm seeing someone with goggles that are like black with like a tiny little pin of ability to see through them. And they're saying, rip them off of your face. Those goggles represent the past. So every time you're evaluating the past as something that you're bringing to the future somehow, and you each do that in your own way, check, they're saying don't. And so like this is where this distortion is. Those goggles, you're not seeing properly because the past is blinding. And so there's a decision. What is this? Oh, right. 9 of shells. You gotta pick you. That's hard. There's a lot of chatter that I'm hearing right now that sounds like, I want to go do X, Y, and Z, but I don't want to leave so-and-so behind, or I don't want to leave that person out in the cold the way that I was left out in the cold, or I don't want to abandon that cause who else is going to do that work. Like there's just this, because you're a spirit of justice, there's this feeling like from you that is, and you're so strong, you're a spirit of justice, you're so strong, you're in the land of the lost, you have a light that nobody else has, you're constantly, you know, having to hear swat at flies, like in a certain kind of a way. And so spirit is basically saying, like, you know, for you to stop thinking about others it's not really natural. It doesn't come natural to you. And it's it's also you've been trained like a Stockholm syndrome to react to everybody else's needs and to think that is your purpose. And so with this 9 of shells, like there's got to be this willingness from you to step into your own value and your own independence. And there's like a lot coming up with that. I don't know for whom, but you know, in 9 of cups and the 9 of pentacles, this is wish fulfillment. In your wish fulfillment is in that independence, and like and saying, oh, and there's such a fear because 5 of Pentacle path. 5 of Pentacle path is left out of everything. 5 of Pentacle path is not understood. 5 of Pentacle path is abandoned, rejected, left to die. Left to die is a very bad feeling. When you are laying out on the side of a sidewalk and it is cold and freezing and you are hungry and you are dying and people see you dying and see you in horrible need and walk right past you, this is coming up. They're saying that is a horrible feeling that never leaves you. When you look around and you see that the world is willing to sacrifice your life to senselessness, that others are in agreement about your being excluded, right? that is something that doesn't leave you easy. And so they're saying, like, this is, again, I mean, yes, this was part of the mission, but right as we are on this point, this hinge, this pivot, let me get focused. You're so spiritually adept. You work in light and dark very easily. You're comfortable in both spaces, but you exclude the light in service of the dark often. And so there's something here. Let's get it. It has to do with your wishes. It has to do with you spending time being like, I want this amazing thing for myself, and I'm worth it somehow. Let me just take a look. But yeah, independence. You're being called to be independent. You're being called to stand alone a little bit, and I want to see why, in a good way. It's like the most positive standing alone I've ever seen. But the Three of Swords. I didn't mean to just like hover over the card, but with the 10 of, again, we're talking about 10 of Pentacles. Look at all your 10s and 9s. It's heartbreaking for you to see the state of the world. And because you know that feeling of somebody walking right past you when you're dying, you do not want to do that to anyone. And your stability, this 10 of Pentacles, but you know, basically before I go to the 10 of Pentacles, because this is the bottom of the deck saying like you are worth so much. You know, that feeling of everybody considering your life worthless, but you are worth 10 of Pentacles. You are worth so much. You are like, I'm hearing like an angel in sheep's clothing, or you know, like this, you're wearing the rags, but you're actually secretly like the angel. But even you are lost to that. Angel's not the right word. I don't deity sounds, but what we're looking at here in the way of 10, that's your value. 10 of coins, that's your generational wealth that you carry within you. That's your ancient quality. So it breaks your heart. You don't want to abandon anyone. This is actually, you came to learn how to do the hardest possible thing for you to do, and the hardest possible thing for you to do is let someone have that feeling and walk away from someone in that feeling. But the needs of this world are not commensurate to your meeting them all. And so you are coming here, you're here for an understanding, and that understanding goes into a message that actually does create the change that lifts everybody up. But if you get bogged down trying to save everyone on the way, like I'm seeing someone swimming through a sea of drowning people, you're never going to swim to shore to blow the whistle and get the help if you're trying to hold everybody who can't swim. They're just going to pull you down. Even if you learn how to breathe underwater, which you have learned how to breathe underwater, people are still pulling you. And you need to say, hey, my message is more important. My getting to the shore is more important than learning how to breathe underwater and trying to pull these people towards the shore. They don't know how to swim, and I need to go and get to the shore in order to get the proper help, in order to be, you can't die. It's not going to serve anyone. So that's really what this 10 of acorns is telling me. You have the strength to breathe underwater. You have this, you're carrying like 50 people on your back. You're trying to get them to the shore. You do this very naturally, just as you walk down the street. And so this is a mentality that you need to shed. You need to actually be by yourself. A lot of this has to do with ways in which avoiding that fear of isolation because of the abandonment. So, you know, the fear of abandonment and the fear of isolation are, you know, intertwined in a way that isn't quite healthy. And so there's this call for you to stand on your own. I want to find out more about that. And I'm hearing again, like the most comfortable 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, standing on your own. It's not, there's no punishment in it. It's actually a reward because again, who you are. With the with the 4 of Pentacles and the World, like let go of that smaller perception of yourself, because here's where the change comes in. I'm seeing the beaver like build the dam, and you're dammed off. You trying to hold on to yourself and manually keep yourself together under the pressure of trying to like be the person in the world that doesn't abandon people, the person in the world that doesn't lack respect and value for other people. Like the person that you are, trying to hold yourself together under the weight of the person that you are. I mean, you're a beautiful person, but again, that's still, you're still operating in the Five of Pentacles path with the Five of Pentacles here on the bottom of the deck. It's time for the new chapter. And so what it means for you to step into that, let's look at what it means for you to step into that. Because it's one thing for us to say, the past is deader than dead. The 10 swords, deader than dead. The Five of Pentacles road, you know, if that's all you've ever known, how are you going to get off of it? So let's look at that. Let's look at what it means for you to get off that road. And it's one step at a time with the Page of Pentacles. You know, the world, the change is here. You may not see it yet with the Four of Cups, but the change is here. Because we have the Queen of Swords underneath. This is a perception shift that is going to bring, that's the power of perception coming in to show you the way. So let's get the power of perception here, because I think we need some way showing. It is a one step at a time operation. I hope the cards are straight. You know, I like always mess that up. Yeah, they look okay. Eight of Cups, something to walk away from now. So what does it mean? Apollo, the fates. Let me get back into that space of communion. What do you mean when you're telling us to, when you speak of this, getting off of that Five of Pentacles path, please show me very clearly. Please bring through, channel through very clearly what you mean. How do we take steps to get off that path? That path sucks. Okay, let's see. Two of Pentacles. Strength. I use a lot of cards because I love cards, but I also use my fingers. I don't know. Every card feels different and similar at the same time sometimes. Okay. Getting out of the way. So that one step at a time for you is important because, again, this is a major shift. Like Five of Pentacles road to 10 of Cups road, 10 of Pentacles road, really seeing your value. This is actually about the road to seeing your value. So when we get off the Five of Pentacles road, it's because we see that we're a 10 of Pentacles, and that road, that like we just, this is that Queen of Swords. Like this is a perception shift in terms of like your own self-worth as you see it. And so there's a need to get balance here because who you are, the Empress, and it's like the Empress and the Eight of Swords are two very different energies, right? So for you to know your value or come to a place where it's like kind of felt sense of this shift, this perspective shift that really changes the alchemy of like the inside of you, is this idea that you are the Empress. And I think at a fundamental place you probably know that's why you fight so hard for yourself. And you can create anything. Like it's almost like you're too powerful, you're too strong. It's like too strong for your own good, too powerful for your own good. And that's sort of what your mission ended up, you know. You were gonna get crushed and you knew it. You were counting on your strength and your power. And so with the Eight of Swords here and the Empress, you know, finding this balance so that you can move on means getting yourself, you know, from an Eight of Swords sense of your self-worth to the Empress sense of your self-worth, which is in alignment with your future. So why do you have a self-worth of Eight of Swords? Show me what the heck that means. That just kind of means like that's what you see. You know, the Eight of Swords, like she can walk straight forward and get out of that trap of being trapped, stuck, like captured. She can walk out. She can leave captivity. She doesn't know that she can. You don't know that you can have this perception shift and see yourself and your value like fully when you identify so much with that Five of Pentacles. And so it's actually easy to just free yourself. You just may not know or feel that that can be true. the Lovers. And again, we have a 2 of... Okay. Thank goodness this is the 6 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. You're going to have victory. And when we look at that 9 of Pentacles, your inner child, again, how did you survive? You survived because your inner child this has been your own little world. Your own little world has actually made for your emotional survival, your intellectual survival. The soul survived like in this own little world. And this was the doing of your mighty and powerful. And I'm being shown the sun, and I'm also being shown the heart. The inner child is this strength in you. There's a call, though, because the inner child, being as mighty and as strong and as creative and as imaginative, galvanizing all of its resources, you know, this inner child with this beautiful heart strength, galvanizing all of its resources to survive and react and survive and react and survive. There hasn't really been an opportunity to mature into this adult space of that 9 of Pentacles is calling you towards. And so, you know, like, what does it mean for you to take the swords down that are covering your heart, to level up with this? This is a maturity, a decision towards maturity. Your most powerful self, the most confident part of you is the inner child, but that's also the part of you that I'm hearing is not necessarily coherent all the time of everything. It's like the inner child is working overtime, you know, to maintain this little world that you had to survive through. But it's time to let that little world go, and that's kind of this maturity, and that's what it means to stand on your own. And that's what it means to stop pivoting towards the needs of others in order to get a sense of the value for yourself, 5 of Pentacles road, and step into the value that is, you know, that mature 9 of Pentacles place. And so that's where your victory is. And so that's why it's that Queen of Swords, like, you know, this decision really to be very mindful of where your energy is going and how valuable your energy is, and not throwing the pearls to swine, not throwing your, not drowning with the drowning for the sake of not abandoning them, is basically what you're being told. Stop drowning with the drowning for the sake of not abandoning them. Take your sense of self out of hero, savior, helper, good person. Like, get rid of all of that as being your identifier. Your identifier is divine being, ascended, you know, and forsaken. Come back, you know, to do work that you were going to do alone, that it was going to hurt like hell, that you were going to lose yourself, that you were going to have incoherence, that you were going to break, and you were just trusting that your heart would get you where it was going. And it did. That was that inner child. But now to come into yourself, to really self-actualize, to get the sense of your worth, for you to be in that 9 of Pentacles, this is happening real fast. Real fast. It's happening really. This is happening now. Temperance, this is this healing and this balance that's coming in. That is all a measure of embracing, in the same way you embrace your inner child to survive, embracing that that move towards maturity. You're ancient. It's not hard. You don't have to grow up. You just have to shift perspective with that. You have to be willing to be in that space of that adulting from a confident and a place that it feels good. You know, it kind of feels good to adult when your resources are endless. You know, it's a good thing to be an adult in a 9 of Pentacles energy, where you're secure and you're stable and you got it together and you're productive and you're held in high esteem, and you're 1 pentacle away from feeling like everything is perfect. You know, that is with this King of Swords energy and this perspective shift for you, and being fair to yourself, not drowning with the drowning, picking yourself up and bringing yourself out of, like, being so, that's this Queen of Cups energy. This is part of your strength, you know, being able to breathe underwater keeps you from drowning with the drowning, but the drowning are going to be like, you know, with their arms around your neck, trying to take your strength as you move out of the water. And that doesn't help anyone. And so that's where we're taking this King of Swords perspective and saying, like, I got to get out of the emotional waters that I have dominion over, that I have become proficient at, and that I have mastered, because it's time to level into, out of that emotional mastery and out of that emotional space and actually become a lot more balanced and healed in the other areas of your life. And that's this sort of like step towards like, I want to be an adult. I don't want to be taken care of. I want to take care of myself. Now, like Apollo is kind of like, yeah, like what is it? What happens when I say, I don't want to be taken care of. I want to take care of myself. Because we can say that all day long and not mean it. And so you'll know if it rings like, oh God, that's terrifying. Or if it rings as like, I'm ready. But whether it rings as it's terrifying or it rings as I'm ready, this is where we are right now. This is where it's a decision. This is where you're going to be like using your intellect to pull yourself out of the familiar emotional depths. Because it's blocking you from seeing what's being offered, from seeing that Ace of Cups that is this new beginning for you that is full of divine love, full of it. Taking action. Yeah. So what does it mean for you to take action? It means being really honest with yourself about what has to be cut out. That's judgment card on the bottom of the deck. Like being really honest with yourself. The Ace of Swords in reverse. What's on this? Goop. The Knight of Swords taking action. The Ace of Swords in reverse, and then the Six of Wands. So we're gonna have victory facing whatever this lie about the self is. Let's get some more cards. I'm gonna let this go as long as it wants to go. It's kind of my spiritual practice not to ever cut off a channel. So we are getting a little bit long, but that's okay. So, let's take a look. I'm feeling like a lot happening here in this reading. There's a lot of like, you know, if I stop and go like, you know, it's because this is really like, this is some powerful stuff, like really powerful stuff. Like when I say homecoming, I mean homecoming, but homecoming sometimes feels raw. I'm actually going to clean up so that we can kind of focus. So I'm going to take a minute to breathe, shuffle this stuff back in. No, wait, I'm keeping this out. Just bear with me for a second while I move some of the stuff that we're not using out of the way. I'm going to put these cards back where they need to go and we'll reshuffle. Because we want this. Other stuff is going back in the deck. Okay. Okay, moving on. Forgive my scatteredness today. This is beautiful, amazing energy that's actually kind of like, it's a lot of really beautiful, amazing energies, and they're kind of calling for change. And I think that that's what's disorienting, is because it's like with the Strength card on the bottom of the deck, you're being called to a level of strength here that isn't insignificant. Look at me spastic. I'm like having like focus issues. Okay. Facing this. Your victory isn't facing this lie. We're gonna look at the lie and what it is. And I needed a bunch of cards to do that for some reason. So that is why we're moving everything around. And I think my guides are just helping me get centered a little bit. Because if you notice my hands kind of moving around, like I'm in kind of a trance, and it's good. This is what I do, but this is heavy. All right, here we are. We're keeping these, and this is what's going on here. Okay. Whew. Amazing. Yeah, I can barely focus. This is such a strong thing that wants to come through. So what does it mean for you what is this lie, first of all, and what does it mean for you to face the truth? We're going to use some oracle cards for this. Yeah, we're going into some advice here. Because it's basically facing a truth about what you're not. It's letting go of what you're not. What does that mean? There's these distractions, like, yeah, it's scattered, this trauma survival stuff. This is what I'm trying to get a hold of. You know, they're basically saying that, like, they want you to, they're like, do you remember what it feels like? Almost like you don't know how to be calm, or that every time you hit a place of calm, you look for distractions because it's so unfamiliar, and that you kind of deplete yourself that way. This between worlds, like spending time between worlds. Let's find out what that means. What is this untruth? Tell me what this is, because I feel such a strength of feeling here. The fates are with us, yes. What do you mean? Imagine, okay. I haven't been holding the cards up, and I don't know why, because I usually do, but I'll start to do it, I think. Okay. So when I say that there needs to be a certain strength around making a decision, deciding to be in that, like, boss place, really stepping into what adulthood means, you know, stepping into that adulthood means doing away from, and it's not a mental thing. Like, this is an emotional thing. This is an emotional, no one's ever taken care of me. I need someone to take care of me. I just want someone to take care of me. There hasn't been compassion for you. There hasn't been a person that comforts you, right? Or if they are, it just doesn't, for whatever reason, it feels like someone's phoning in it. I'm like feeling someone bereft of that. And so when I speak to this, like, some of, like, what it means to grow up is to make peace with the fact that you're not going to get the needs that you had in childhood are not going to get met by another person ever. Why do I say that? Sounds really harsh, right? That doesn't mean that your needs won't get met by another person ever. It means that, like, the childhood needs, the childhood that has passed, the childhood that is in the past, the childhood that kept, that your inner child, you know, that you have been, your inner adolescent and your inner child, or like, you know, this has been you. There's unfinished business with the past, because the past didn't finished giving the past didn't meet the needs of the past, and it seems like unfinished business. And so Spirit says, like, you know, what does it mean to, like, walk away from the past? What does it mean to clean it up? What does it mean to get fresh and start new for you with a perspective of self that isn't that Five of Pentacles road? So Spirit is basically saying that, you know, you exist in two worlds, and this is where we see this unbalance between that Eight of Swords and the Empress. The fate's coming through really strong, by the way, to let you know that you have so much family, and you do have a very rich ancestral, like, your soul, like, family and rich ancestral, these deities that want to work with you actively, these deities that want to be close to you, these deities that want to show you what it really means to step into this new life, what it means to step into that Nine of Pentacles place. Because you're a creature between two worlds, you have an incredible spiritual gift and an arsenal of spiritual gifts. And so, like, when they, you know, when we talk about what is this lie, right? What is this lie that you have to kind of face in order to embrace this new life and be able to be led to a certain, there's a certain extent to it that requires being part of the spiritual inheritance. The Imagine card, this is kind of, I'm drawn to, like, her pulling the string, pulling yourself up. Let's get more information on that. What do you mean by clean it up? And I think the fates are significant here because, again, you came in with such a plan. And you lost track of your true self. It was always going to be too hard in a way. But they're saying you did it. Whatever it is that you were supposed to do, you did it, because you are at the pivot point. You are like at a mission accomplished. Time to step out of, we're done with the Five of Pentacles road. We really are. It's just that it's the only road that you've ever known. So this is going to be, it's kind of a hard thing to get you to be able to see, conceive, feel, understand that Nine of Pentacles other road. It's foreign. It's uncomfortable. Foreign things are just like inherently uncomfortable, but yeah. This healing, the mending that has to take place. So like for you to imagine with the orphan, you know, on the bottom of the deck, imagine a different circumstance. Imagine, and what do I mean by that? Because that sounds really vague. Because we are dealing, you know, that orphan is that Five of Pentacles road. So exchanging gifts. Okay, so you're incredibly gifted, soulmate. Okay, good. And why? All right, excellent. I needed all that. You are blessed. You were blessed with a tremendous gift, and they want you to begin exploring that, and like to understand that you've always been between worlds. That's breathing underwater. You've always been somebody who can see both sides. You have a very rich, like spiritual, like arsenal of spiritual gifts that are incredibly powerful, incredibly rich. And for you to step into that and to step into that self-knowledge is to first actually see yourself as blessed, which if your perspective is orphan and an orphan is your only experience, saying I'm blessed is kind of difficult, isn't it? But so this is kind of the change of perspective that we're having. We're doing away with that Five of Pentacles path. That's no longer our story. And we're stepping into what it means to see yourself as like blessed, ancient, powerful, divine being with a very important mission and message. That's these gifts. You know, you are gifted. And so you know that you're gifted. And so when we say imagine, you know, like this is this way in which getting out of your own way. The imagination is just as important in child as it is in adulthood. It's just that, like, in the same way that, like, I think if this has come through in another reading, the way like little cubs or little bears wrestle, because they're learning how to fight in the future and they're going to need those skills. You know, what you do with your imagination when you're a child is meant to turn into your magic as an adult. And so this is a call to like really step into that magic. And so when taking hold of the imagination, and so that's what you're being told to do. What does it mean for you to confront the false truth? Is to get a hold of your imagination and understand that it is an advanced survival, incredible, very psychic, very intuitive. Like you are amazing. This is your heart. Your heart is amazing. But they want you to know that you're more gifted than you realize. And so to move into this place of taking hold of your imagination is saying, you know, my imagination was practicing for the magic that I'm going to be stepping into and that I'm going to be using. Both things are valuable. The one thing is the door to the other thing. So it's not saying like, you know, get a hold of your imagination and make sure it's not going in the wrong way, because you cannot choke out that psychic child. That's the wrong direction. The psychic child is incredibly important, but stepping into your gifts and really being able to give your gifts in a way that is powerful for you, supporting of you, and self-actualizing and seeing who you really are, there is a call for you to take your magic very seriously now. There is a soulmate here, and there's the energy of a higher self of a soulmate here, and there's a soulmate for you. But begin to start this quest. No longer is this quest about saving the others and being in that savior mode, because you did it and you did it well and you already achieved that. And like there's waves of success that are about to come from all the effort that you put into carrying the world on your back the way that you did for so long. There is I hear compensation, like a rewarding thing related to the stuff that you did and the way that you put your life on the line over and over again, the way that you blessed others even though you were completely depleted. All of that is going to be useful, and that's all going to be part of you, this very good wave of good karma, right? But it's time to take your magic very seriously and begin to study, because this is the path that leads you home. And to step into your gifts means going farther than just like, I was born with this and I know how to do it. And actually begin a course of study, because these guides want to work with you. We're all ready, is what they're saying. We are ready to go. You finished that leg of the race. You're done with the hard stuff. We are done with that Five of Pentacles road. Shake off the Five of Pentacles feeling, and then brought back to this same person who was left to die. It's a horrible feeling. That's what you have to free yourself from, because that's the feeling that has been dictating your actions for such a long time, because you don't want anyone else to experience that, because you're so advanced and you're so ancient. You are connected to everyone else, and you feel that person, you feel a person with that feeling on them, you smell that feeling on them, and you go right to the rescue. And even when you don't go right to the rescue, there's guilt and shame that you didn't go right to the rescue. So we're getting rid of that, and we're getting rid of that feeling as being something that controls you and dominates you in any way. You're done. You did your savior work. That feeling is now no longer something that you need. And so Apollo invites us to put that on the altar and allow him to burn it up. Take that feeling. We're going to heal from that feeling. We're going to take that feeling and we're going to make conscious, well, let's just do it right now. Make this conscious effort and just say aloud, because this is something that is a decision that you're stepping into. Say aloud, I take that feeling of worthlessness that I have been fighting to disprove, not only in my own life, but in the lives of others. And I put it on the altar so that Apollo can burn it up and I can be free of it. So just take a moment to say that any way that it comes naturally to you, and to express that intention of release. Because Apollo says, I will take it. The fates are echoing. I feel Loki is here, you know, and there's this emotion from him too that's unlike anything I've ever felt from him. And I haven't worked with him very much at all, so. But there's such a relief in you just letting go of that. Just let go. That is no longer your name. That is no longer the vibe that is going to have control over you. You are freed. So embrace that. And so I am tempted to leave us there. And actually, Loki and Apollo, the fates, like, we are ready to leave this reading where it is. There's no more tarot. We're going to get some advice, like, directly. We're going to get two pieces of advice from Spirit right now. Apollo is saying we're going to get a direct line of advice with these cards, and then we're going to get a postcard, and then we're going to close the reading on that note. So let's just take a moment, really be in a space of release. Be in that space of release. Forgive the past of how horrible it was, and then let go, and be in that space of releasing that feeling having any kind of power over you. You came here to defeat that feeling, by the way, because you do want to save those people. And by defeating that feeling, that's like your first step to finding your way to help people out from the shore instead of drowning at the bottom of the sea. Drowning with the drowning doesn't help. Once you get to the shore, you can help. And so this is where Apollo is saying, like, your mission accomplished. Your mission is accomplished. Now we change the road and everything makes sense, right? We get to dry land. So releasing that feeling is stepping out of the ocean, taking that first step on land and pulling yourself up and saying, I don't need any help. I'm that Nine of Pentacles. Now, Apollo wanted to just stop me right now and say, it's not about I don't need any help. And it's not about I don't have needs. It's about that feeling having dominion over your life and getting rid of that. Your needs are going to get met. They are. Believing that is getting off of that Five of Pentacles road. It's almost like once you figure out who you are, you're like, okay, I've got everything I need to do whatever I want. There's a like lottery jackpot of self. And so that's what is meant by, yes, you do have needs, obviously, and so we're not trying to say that you don't need anything, but Apollo says, say my needs are met. It's a belief, it's a knowledge. You've got so much help around you as you step into this new space within yourself. You're going to be assisted at every step of the way, especially right out of the water. As I'm seeing someone being pulled out of the water and they got to cough up, they got to cough it up. They need to blow the nose, shake, someone needs to hand them a towel. Like, there's a process here for your release, but you are released. Apollo says you are released. Okay. One more? Actually, we've got 3. But there's the message here in this. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second. You are never alone. Bottom of the deck energy is you're not alone. You step into that 9 of Pentacles energy of independence. Independence is not synonymous with alone. And so this is where this willingness to step into that internal, like you are the center of your gravity, independence, and you are never alone. Is all of the meandering around this concept of loneliness with that 5 of Pentacles life that you had to live. You're never going to be alone. That's not where any of this goes. And you never are alone. And right now you're especially surrounded. Now, slow and steady wins the race means you're pacing. If you're like looking at your life and you're being like, how could I be anything incredible? I'm X years old and blah, 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 blah. Spirit is saying like your pacing has been exceptional. You were meant to get here exactly now. And you made it. You made it on time. You're not late to where you're going. Again, Spirit is saying you're supposed to figure out as you go along. And what Apollo is bringing in very strongly for you in particular is that you are unique, and you've never let anyone crush that out of you, and that you're here just in time with everything that you need, and hearing nothing wasted, nothing lost. It was all part of where you're going. And so kind of like that's part of forgiving the past, is accepting that your pace was your pace and your pace is fine. And actually having a level of relief. And Apollo says, feel relieved. You're on time. Because Spirit has a plan. You didn't have to plan every aspect of everything up until this point. If you're reacting and surviving, you didn't get to plan, did you? And so this is where you're just on time. Don't worry about all that. Spirit has a plan. Open to the infinite possibility of what this new life actually means. It's a perspective shift that turns very quickly into a new reality. And so being open to the possibility that such a thing could have a really remarkable transformation effect in your life. This is not, I'm hearing like this is very much what we're saying is going to happen for you. And again, they're saying get off the timeline, Apollo, what is that? Yeah, stop looking at time as tyrannical. It's just time. It's just a timeline. You're like, there's an extra, like, you're fine. You're okay. You have enough time. Don't worry about what you're gonna accomplish and what you have left. It's already halfway accomplished. That's part of the message. So be here where you are right now. Because what needs to happen in this space, in the here and now, which not happening, you know, tending to the small things isn't happening as much as, like, to the extent that it can. Because what Apollo is saying is, how are you ever going to tend to the small things? Like, you have been running on a battery of survival and like trauma after trauma with no time, like being forced on a wheel of reaction instead of being on a wheel of self-actualization. So you're getting off of the wheel of reaction like right now. This is actually, and this is, again, it's relinquishing a lot of the emotional stuff in order to step into that Nine of Pentacles inheritance. It kind of requires some time with the small stuff, the self-actualizing instead of just the surviving. Because you've got a song to learn. That's your song. And so be here now is like such an important part of this message. Like this new life, invite the deities that are the Apollo says, if you're here right now, I want to work with you. Hi, right? And the fates are saying, they speak in such a beautiful way. They're kind of echoing this. And Loki, he's laughing. He's like, some of you don't want to, it's fine if you don't, let me hear, let me listen actually. Because again, why is he here? What do you, huh? Let me understand. It's a heritage thing. It's a green man thing. Let me get some cards, just 2 seconds. I want to do a little justice here with this. Because there's a reason. And there's a message with that reason. There's actually just like, you know, like you're important. I'm hearing like you're so important. Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so Loki's here to help you with your independence, actually. So, you know, you live in a Four of Pentacles kind of a place, and of holding yourself together. I've got to hold myself together. I got to keep myself together. I got to keep it together. I got to keep it together. I'm hearing that. And he's saying, like, I'm here to help you get to that 9 of Pentacles spot, if you'll let me. And that might require something in the way of a tower. So let's extend this reading and actually find out what that means. It's kind of a big deal, because this is related to this message. So what is this tower? Because that's scary. Shouldn't be. Angel of Tower. It rescues you from a faulty, a failing foundation. The Angel of Tower always rescues you from a failing foundation. Huh. So, okay, Queen of Wands and the 6 of Wands. We getting some this is nice. Ooh, look at all these wands. Look at all these wands. Look at you, passionate. This is, don't worry. This is like, okay, so here I got it. This is the best change. You know, sometimes the tower it's a seismic shift every single time. It knocks you out of the old way and into the new way every single time. It's a reckoning, but this is a positive reckoning. And it reminds me, being shown, you know, trauma. There is such a thing as like good news bringing a level of trauma, because it's the same, like, shakes your life out of balance. And the life that you've been, the 5 of Pentacles path has been terrible. You don't want this. You know you don't want this. You know that you want more. You know you have more coming to you and you deserve more. And so the 5 of Pentacles path, Loki's here to help shake that up. It's a little nervous. I understand. I've been in this position. But I'm hearing it's going to be fun. It's going to be positive. It's going to shake you out of the life that you're living. It's going to be a reckoning of change that's pretty rapid. But it's victory, completion. And look at you, Queen of Wands energy. It's a positive thing. So, you know, there's a call to this new life ends the old one. And that means that the tower ends the old one. And you work with your deities on how you want to manage these kinds of transitions. They're not going to impose them on you in a way that is unmanageable, but you want the change. You don't like the 5 of Pentacles road. And so Loki is here to help you step into that independence. And there's a reckoning here. There's a tower. There's an upsetting of the 5 of Pentacles road. I'm seeing something like fall on the road, and then it stops being the road that you're going to be going on, right? And so Spirit is saying it's a victory, and it's a party. It's completion. It feels good. It's positive public recognition, and you're in this Queen of Wands place. It's just kind of a revolution. It's a difference that from the world that you're currently in, that is like night and day. So now let's just go ahead and get this one last card, and then we can close out. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. But that's because this is kind of an amazing message. I'm really honored that I can channel these energies. They are incredible, just incredibly beautiful. Okay, let's get this last card. All right, there it is. All right, let's read it. This is for the dearest you. So this is Apollo, the Fates, and even Loki would like to bring this message to you. I'm going to read it to you. Dearest you, all your prayers are heard and mirrored back to you from the unseen realms. Be grateful, praise things before they manifest, and always ask for the highest good. When you plead and beg, that will bring you only more reasons to plead and beg. Instead, offer your prayers as sacred gifts, as a testament to your faith in a higher power. Open up and let Spirit move through you and comfort you. Add meditation as a way to become empty, so you will be ready to be filled with inspired epiphanies, peace, understanding, and joy. In this moment, your prayers are being answered for the highest good of both you and all life. Sometimes what you pray for is not supposed to happen for you, and your prayers will be answered in surprising ways. At this moment, we are listening intently to your prayers and want you to know that your highest good is our priority. All is well. So I'm going to close this reading by saying these energies want to, Apollo, the Fates, Loki even, and every person has like a different comfort zone in different ways. And I'm hearing, if you're at this reading, you're comfortable. Yeah, so anyway, Spirit is basically saying that your prayers are being answered right now, so pray to them. and they will work with you. It's time to take yours, because you have such a rich spiritual inheritance of gifts. It's time to take your magic very seriously now. Begin these, and even if you have a practice, these deities, these energies want to come through and help you get to that Nine of Pentacles place with that practice. They're like, it's level up time, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna bring this Six of Wands, Four of Wands, completion, celebration, Six of Wands, victory, public recognition, Queen of Wands, amazing fire, Queen of Glory. So let's leave it there, and thank you for joining me as we allow these wonderful deities to come through and assist us, and we thank them for all of their help, and just take that moment to thank them, and I'll see you guys again soon.